What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Greetings to all of you listening and watching me wherever you are. I hope this will be a short one. I was watching something else and this was to the right, and I thought, well, that must be old because we've had the election. We're about to go into a new year, and there's a lot of emotions to go around on all sides and sectors. You have hundreds of thousands of people murdered in Gaza. You have the blood drinking, baby eating, demonic devils in the illegal land heist called Israel, bombing Lebanon and trying to start a regional war with Iran and all of that. You've got Ukraine and Russia. You've got the ongoing assault on our mother continent. You've got the French blood drinking, baby eating white devils there trying to continue chaos in the Sahel states in Africa. And you've got starvation and war in Yemen and genocide in the Congo, and on I could go. You have Roe v. Wade was struck down, and Kamala Harris didn't win, so therefore there's not going to be a bill to reinstate this right for women. We've been, for decades, as African people, saying we want fucking reparations in this bitch. But somehow this trans bullshit is worthy of serious discussion. This is a diversion, everybody. There's a piece, where was it now? I don't know if I can find it now, so I'm going to cite it for you, but there was a piece that I saw, it might have been on Twitter, about the history of West Germany and what was going on there during World War II or just before World War II or something in that time frame, where the Zionist, big-nose Zionist, fake-ass people, there was an epidemic of this castration of boys and dressing them up as girls and a lot of sexual deviance and things like that. And I say this is from them. This is from them to confuse, to install chaos and division, to create a victim, like pop-up victim, presto pop-up. Look, you're a victim. Quick, go and scream you're a victim. And I just thought, are we serious? This is a conversation? There's so much other shit that really is a conversation. You've got migrants that are getting all these resources when you've got millions of homeless people on the street, and many people about to be homeless, not because they don't have a job or because they're feckless, but because the goddamn rent is too high and everything is too high, and people are just sick and tired of living to work. This is not how the divine intended our arc of life to be. This ain't it. This ain't it. Because when you spend all of your time working to try to pay bills and shit, You don't have time to center in on the divine. You don't have the opportunity to silence your vessel, silence your soul, and to hear the whisper of the divine, to receive his inspiration and guidance. You don't have time to pay attention to how your food is nothing but poison now, that there's nothing you could consume in the United States of America that would remotely offer any life-giving property to you. You don't have time to pay attention to how your politicians are thieving the fuck out of everything and catering only to the well-to-do and the wealthy and not giving a damn about anybody else. But more importantly, you're too busy to go and take their ass the fuck out, to challenge them, you understand, to strike fear, and to exact change by a demand, and not a fucking vote or an ask, but a demand. And this shit is important. Give me a break. Hear this short clip that started my piss and vinegar.
We're having here is actually not a conversation that happens very often.
Just a second.
The conversation that we are having here is actually not a conversation that happens very.
Really, Abby? Because this is all the fuck we were hearing for a very long time. She's trying to, you see, they're rebranding it now. Because I always tell you, they count on your 5-minute memory. They count on that. So they can just reintroduce shit and you think it's new, and it's not. Do you understand? Hear how she opened that up. Go on.
The conversation that we are having here is actually not a conversation that happens very often. And one of the things about this issue is that there is fear on both sides. There's a reason you both are here today, because there's fear of people who are trans coming in settings where they have to defend themselves and their identities and who they are, and fear of people who may not know much.
Who gives a fuck? Where's the round table of people up there to talk about why the fuck we don't have reparations yet? And why they can find a bill for everybody else for every fucking thing. A white bitch stumps her toe. She gets a bill. Do you understand? Where is the ongoing and intense and consistent conversation of our issue? Because without us, there is no fucking transgender. African people have paved the way for every fucking body else. From the transgender to the fucking migrant to anybody else. It's us. And I suggest to my people, it's high time that we completely withdraw from their entire political system. We need to have an all-out campaign of hashtag black folks don't vote. That's what it needs to be. But in the meantime, we should be trying to establish the ability to form our own political party that we select and vet and agree upon our own candidate. And that's who we support and that's who we run. And it's black only. We don't need no fucking allies. No white people. No fucking rainbow carrying ass motherfuckers. No Latinos. No anybody. Just fucking black people. That's it. That's it. That's it. Because essentially what you just had in November was the election of the white party. Let's not play games and act like we don't understand. The Republican Party stands for white people. That's what it stands for. That's why hell or high water, didn't matter what Trump would do, they were going to vote for him. And I'm not mad at it. Just they need to shut the fuck up when we have the black party. And when our candidate is only up there talking about black issues only, that's it. But if we want something we never had, we got to do shit we never did. And we have got to make a commitment. You got to keep grandma's ass away from the ballot. She won't be voting. Either will grandpa. Stay their ass home and sit down. We got to do something big, everybody. I always tell you, the only way you affect this white devil is if you're affecting their wallet or their ability to take their next fucking breath. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. Nothing at all. You don't find a way to prevent one or both of those things, you never get shit. And that's one of the reasons why we haven't gotten a damn. And we have to ostracize and isolate and freeze out any and all Negroes who still want to sing that kumbaya shit. We have to have complete and total compliance. There is no halfway. That's it. We have to draw a line in the sand and we have to separate the weeds from the grass. This is the answer. I give a fuck about this transgender bullshit as much as I care. I care more about gum under the bottom of my shoe. I swear that by Allah. I swear that by Allah. This is as insignificant as a booger I would have flicked out of my nose. So let's be very clear and let us claim our culture. You see? Because we have a culture. We're just allowing it to be optional. We can't allow that anymore. We can't allow that. You notice that Kamala didn't even try to go talk to the Muslim community. She was over it because she knew we were over it. That there is no compromise with people of conviction. When we say ceasefire, bitch, we mean ceasefire. And if you can't utter that out of your mouth and pledge to do that, then don't come speaking to us. But there she was, with every fucking twerk bitch that's ever been born, trying to get the black vote, trying to seduce, to trick. That would never work with Muslims. And indeed, it would never work with any people of conviction. We must find our conviction as a people. You want something you never had, you got to do shit you never did. So if you're a feckless bitch under the sound of my voice and you know you haven't been convicted, it's time to get in fucking line. It's overtime. Let's go on with this vomit.
About this issue, even talking about it, but they have feelings about it. Mm-hmm. So how do we address that? Because it feels to me like this is an animating issue.
Let me go back because you're probably out of context because I was jacking, but just we'll do pickups.
Issue is that there is fear on both sides. There's a reason you both are here today, because there's fear of people who are trans coming in settings where they have to defend themselves and their identities and who they are, and fear of people who...
There is no fear, and they don't have shit to defend if they do what they did for the longest time ever. Shut the fuck up and be yourself. Nobody's going to give a fuck. It's when you try to start making yourself front and center when you find out that people really don't give a fuck about you and need to stay out folks' face. You see? It's the same with these fake Jews, these Zionists, these blood-drinking, baby-eating demonic demons. Nobody's thinking about them at all. Nobody. Then they want to jump in your face and say, I'm special. See me as special. Notice me. I'm special. Special. Me, me, me. And we say, fuck you. We don't give a fuck about you. Get out my face. Disappear back into the fucking fog where you came from. You're not important. We don't care. It's the same psychology that's working with both of these groups. Notice me, notice me. I'm special. Feel sorry for me. I'm a victim. It's me. You see? When they're not victims.
Issue is that there is fear on both sides. There's a reason you both are here today because.
And this is one of those things right here. This is always white people. So you ask yourself, A, why is this issue being visited now? Why is they're doing dedicating a whole segment on television to this now? When this is, nobody gives a fuck about this at all right now. People trying to figure out how they can pay for eggs and fucking groceries and gas and rent. Nobody cares about this shit. So you ask yourself about what is with the timing? And then why is it suddenly a blackface now? Suddenly. When we the last motherfuckers is gonna care about this shit. We don't care. And we not with it. And we not gonna be. Like, what do you want? A trophy? It's like a shapeshifter. Okay, are you black? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you trans? Which victim are you trying to be here? Because you can change and shit. Let's go on.
There's a reason you both are here today because there's fear of people who are trans coming in settings where they have to defend themselves and their identities and who they are, and fear of people who may not know much about this issue even talking about it, but they have feelings about it. Mm-hmm. So how do we address that? Because it feels to me like this is an animating issue in the country, and everyone is walking on eggshells talking about it.
No.
It is. And I do think it's important to try to have a respectful discourse and understand that there are so many strong feelings. And I think part of the reason why there's so many strong feelings is we're talking specific.
We're being told this by Peppermint, everybody. Huh? Generations of African people lynched up to trees and, buried alive and torn apart by horses and worked for free and chattel slavery, and then the black codes and sharecropping and redlighting and discrimination and mass incarceration, and we can go on and fucking on. And now peppermint is what we're supposed to focus on. Huh? As if this is a priority that we should all just be, oh my God, stop the press, stop your life, because Jimmy can't decide if he's a girl or a boy. It's ridiculous. And we have to call it exactly what it is. Outrageous. Go on.
Feels to me like this is an animating issue in the country, and everyone is walking on eggshells talking about it.
It is. And I do think it's important to try to have a respectful discourse and understand that there are so many strong feelings. And I think part of the reason why there's so many strong feelings is we're talking specifically when we're talking about trans issues. This is something that relates to gender and sexuality, something that all human beings have an inherent connection to, and also feel like they are the authority on. But every person is different in their own gender, in their own sexuality, in their own expression. And I want to go back to the gender affirming care aspect. We're talking about even for...
Listen, beware of these titles of this gender affirming care. They always have some little nice bow to tie around a pile of shit known as evil. You understand? It's the epitome of putting lipstick on a goddamn pig or whipped cream on a pile of shit and calling it, I don't know, a pudding. gender affirming care. It's castration, is what the fuck it is. But they never put those people on TV. The medical professionals that will tell you that when you give this shit to little boys or girls, you just fucking wiped out their whole ability to have natural sexual desire and impulses and things like that. For little boys, no, they'll never have an erection and know what it is to go through puberty and all that stuff. They act like you can just turn God's switch off and turn it back on, trying to interfere with the divine process. I just recently released a video for you. I don't know, a couple of days or what it is now, giving you the miracle from the Quran, the miracle of life. Showing you how Allah has described the embryo in detail, inside and out, in a book revealed nearly 1,500 years ago at a time when there were no microscopes. That you cannot see this with the naked eye, and you didn't even know it was there. It wasn't until the 20th century when obstetrics and pediatricians and things like that were trying to figure out, well, is there a way for us to know earlier if a woman is pregnant? How can we know that before there's a fetus? And what they learned is everything that's in the Quran in order of the way that Allah talks about it. And then peppermint shows up, and we're supposed to stop the press. I'm over it. Gender affirming care for people who can't legally be entered into a contract. They can't drive a car. They can't fucking buy a pack of cigarettes. They can't buy alcohol. I mean, there's a million things they can't do. But they can decide that they're something that God doesn't create. Just because three-year-old Katie says she's a boy, suddenly she is now doted over as some special angel befallen from the heavens, and we're supposed to rush to her side and give her whatever she wants. I don't think so. Let's go on.
Also feel like they are the authority on, but every person is different in their own gender, in their own sexuality, in their own expression. And I want to go back to the gender affirming care aspect. We're talking about even for...
And if this was a real world, even though I don't really like this Abby Phillips person, she's too sedate. Like, she's always just like she's had a Valium and like something else that sedates you or some shit. Like, I can't even. But in a real world, she would say, look, my brother, I'm a woman. You will never be me. You'll never be me. I don't mind you putting on your wigs or your lipstick and all that stuff, but you're not anything but a man trying to look like a woman. That's all. That's what's real. And know this, everybody. There is compassion to be given and grace. And two things can exist at the same time. This is some bullshit. But it is also another level of bullshit that is not Peppermint's fault. Because I allege, based on evidence, I come to a conclusion that these people, whether they're transgender or gay or lesbian, that's all the fuck there is. Don't give me all these other letters of the fucking alphabet. These people are genuine in their feeling and belief. Now, are there some yahoos out there just trying to feel special and shit and join a club so they can get some shine? Absolutely. Absolutely. Exhibit A would be the bastard that showed up at the women's swim finals and has not had any surgery, clearly is a man, and poof, he decides he's a woman, and they let him swim. He dusts the women, crushed them to fucking hell, and takes the gold. And everybody's supposed to be happy. You see, as Exhibit B, Bruce Jenner, Bruce, B-R-U-C-E, Bruce Jenner, Bruce Nem, Brucey. Bruce puts on a dress, a Versace dress, for 5 minutes, and suddenly, poof, he's Woman of the Year, everyone. This is psychotic. It's psychotic. Don't give me shit else. We don't have to adopt their psychotic thinking. This is why I tell you, you got to be the captain of your vessel and you got to stand at your gate. And part of what that looks like is you don't let yourself be influenced by some shit you know is some bullshit. And you don't need to be politically correct and just go along for somebody's feelings. Fuck all of that. Stand on your goddamn dime and don't move. Don't move. But I digress. A few years ago, and I think I brought this on my old channel. I've definitely talked about it, so I can't imagine that I didn't bring it before you. There was a black scientist in a lab, and there was somebody there interviewing him. I don't know what the premise of the interview was or whatever, but he was dealing with some reptiles, some lizards, and he had a syringe. He was saying when we give them this, the male reptiles do everything 100% female. Not like they kind of, or, you know, they sort of, no. 100%. They absolutely, it changes them. They absolutely think they do everything the female lizard would do. Now, you're never going to be able to convince me in this lifetime, because we know this white devil has been doing all sorts of biological shit since before you and I were even born. They're obsessed with trying to deny God and then to be God. And to fuck up humanity. And they see the general population as just their playground for experiments and whatever they want to do. You understand? They're there cloning sheep and all of it. You know, you had cryogenics where they wanted to freeze their bodies and then be brought alive in another year from the future and shit. I mean, this is, no black person comes up with bullshit like this. We don't do that. We don't do that because we inherently is in our nature to respect the laws of the divine, even the most trifling amongst us. So I allege and contend and suggest that the evidence shows that this is what has taken place, because I've thought about it. I thought, well, this is not consistent with Allah's creation. And if the divine shows us nothing else, he shows us consistency. Like, you can depend on his creation to be exactly what it's supposed to be, period. And the only way you get something else is when man, particularly this white devil, has intervened and intersected in some way. So I believe that just like this dude was giving them reptiles some shit, something now has been given to the mother, Women are going through a lot of this prenatal bullshit that I don't understand, but I contend it's not even needed, because for thousands of years women gave birth to babies and that was the end of it. They moved on. Nothing to see here. Suddenly now they need all this care and, ooh, take this, take that. You need this, you need that. And nobody's scrutinizing what's in it. Nobody. Nobody. What is a pap smear? Why is that needed? Again, for thousands of years, no need for it. No need. Why is there suddenly a need for it now? Why? 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 This is the question that rarely gets asked about anything. Why? Why? It's the most glorious thing that comes out of the mouth of a child, and they will get on your last nerve with it. But they have no choice. They are a new vessel on the earth, and everything is new to them. So they don't understand anything. So they ask rightly, why? Go to bed, why? Tie your shoe, why? Don't talk when grown folks talk, why? Don't do that. Sit up there at the table, why? Everything's why with these people. I mean, it's just, but they have to, because that's how they learn. They want a reason. And so we should take that cue from the children to remind our child self that still resides in us to not just acquiesce to anything that we're told or sold. That we should immediately ask, why? 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 Then you add to that, when the child comes forth, I remember for thousands of years, the baby was born and the mother breastfed it, and it grew up to be a very healthy human being, and it went on through its life with no problems. But suddenly, this white devil has decided your baby needs 150,000 fucking vaccines when it is the most healthy thing that exists on the planet when it comes out of the mother. That's it. Allah has perfected that life on every level. So I allege and believe that somewhere they have tainted this baby, either at the fetal level, when the fetus, or I'm sorry, when the embryo is still developing even, or somewhere between the embryo and the fetus and by the time the child comes forth. And this is how you're getting these people talking about they were born in the wrong body and they can't go on, and or here they come when, at some point in their life they want to tell you that they're gay and they need to come out of the closet and all of it. I believe that, because that explains what needs to be explained, because this is not created by Allah, and so, but it's also forbidden by Allah. So why would Allah create something that he forbids? That's not consistency. So that's a problem. So we know that's not divine, because it's not consistent. Because Allah only gives us consistency. That's all he gives us. That's all he gives us, is consistency. It is one of the attributes of our Maker. I even offer to you that there's no such thing as a baby born with defects. I don't believe that. I believe that's evidence of tampering by this white devil. You have a baby that's suddenly born with, a heart defect, or, one arm, or they're born with just a torso or some bullshit. Just anything's not perfect. We say that's been tainted. So we know that this is forbidden and it's inconsistent. It is not created by Allah. But yet, we can intellectualize that these people would not choose this. Again, there are some yahoos out there that are choosing the shit. Just, But that's going to be a small number. So if this is inherent to these people, that they really believe it, they say they're born this way, then two things can be true. They were born that way. But Allah didn't create that. That they are victims of this white devil. That's what I believe. But having said that, that needs to be acknowledged. And whether it is or not acknowledged, we still need to reject the trying to make this a normal forced upon the rest of the populace, that we don't have to accept it, but we also can still show grace. And we don't have to reject them. We just reject this shit when you're trying to make it an issue, when you're trying to get be able to go into the same bathroom as, people that are not is not what you was born as, and you trying to compete in women's sports, and you just anything that you trying to do that's special and shit. You trying to get some special rights, and you don't get shit special. You don't get anything special. You don't. You don't get shit that's special. They should not be subjected to violence and rejected as individuals. Just this group shit and trying to make them special, when we have entertainers have to go back and have to apologize for shit they did 10, 15 years ago, nah, we draw the line. We draw the line. We'll respect and accept that you were born that way, and you will shut the fuck up and just live your life in peace. And we will shut the fuck up over here and just live our life in peace. There's something for everybody. No problem. But this is used, you see, to talk about anything else other than black folks. Because if they don't exist, they'll give you the fucking fake ass Jews. If it's not them, they'll give you women, which by women they mean white women. If it's not them, they give you the immigrants. If it's not them, they've always got a replacement for your pain and your issue lined up in the stable, ready to go. Ready to go. Anything but the niggers. Nope, not the niggers. Nope. Quick, let's talk about animal safety. Quick. We almost had to talk about the niggers. Quick, we're outraged over puppies. Wait, quick, we're outraged over the squirrels. They need their rights. Anything but the niggers. Anything but the niggers. Just anything. We got to be over that. And we don't do ourselves any justice when we try to support them or anybody else that's popping up as an imposter in our fucking path of resistance to our shit. Every time you take a moment, you're running towards a goal. Every time you take a moment to even try and get a glimpse over your shoulder to see where the competition is or what's happening to anybody else, you lose momentum. You lose momentum. And we got to stop that shit. We got to stop it. This is a non-issue. issue. And we got to stop focusing on any and everybody's fucking issue that's not black. If we're ever going to unite and use our power to force our issue onto the table. And our central issue must be reparations. They owe us. We don't want to hear fucking study groups. We don't want to hear you got to look at it. A fucking thing you got to do is figure out what pen you going to sign that fucking check with. That's all you need to do. There's nothing to study. Because I remind you, they gave every man, woman, and child in this bitch a stimulus check. Even dead people. They broke it down by category, who would get it, what day you would get it, all that stuff, what group you would be in. Oh, they in 5 minutes they had it. They had the site set up where you could go and just put in your information and check exactly when your check would come, how it would come. You could have it come by check. You could have it come by direct deposit. You could have it put on a card. It didn't matter. It was just anything. They had it already. So they can do anything when they want to do it. They're just playing in our face, dude. We got to be over that shit. There's not a fucking thing to study. And they always know, they make sure they know exactly where our black asses are on any day of the goddamn week. Man, woman, and child, dead or alive. They know. So there's not shit to study. Other than just cut the fucking check and send the shit out. That's it. That's what's real. That's what's real. You think that sounds too simplistic? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. There is nothing to study at all. We don't need a goddamn committee for anything. Same way they sent all the information over to the Federal Reserve and they cut them damn checks and sent that out to everybody and their mother. Everybody and their mother. Didn't matter what your economic status was. Didn't matter if you was on welfare or if you was on the street or if you was, remember they had it broke down by family and everything. Like the children get this and the adults get this. If there's this many people in the home, you get this. I mean, they had it all broken down, every category. And you wanted to, and that was for every man, woman, and child in this bitch. You're never going to make a case to me that they can't know exactly who the fuck in this bitch is black and send out a goddamn check. Period. And I don't want to hear from you Negroes with that FBA and all that bullshit. I don't give a damn. If you are black, you are goddamn African. Period. And we're not going to waste our energy or our time trying to parse out because they didn't. Remember, every man, woman, and child in this bitch got a stimulus check. And they didn't give a damn if you was FBA or anything else. So don't bring that shit to my throne. Don't. Let's hear the last of this.
Animating issue in the country, and everyone is walking on eggshells talking about it.
It is. And I do think it's important to try to have a respectful discourse and understand that there are so many strong feelings. And I think part of the reason why there's so many strong feelings is we're talking specifically when we're talking about trans issues. This is something that relates to gender and sexuality.
And in fairness, let me just say, because we're always seeing some clown ass looking white person, I'm going to give this dude his props. He's actually giving me Beverly Johnson a little bit. Like if I squint a little bit, it's giving Beverly Johnson. And I feel like if you think you're a woman and you're gonna be a woman, then this is what you should appear as. Not some fucking white dude with fucking a little fake ass ponytail and a scrunchie, and suddenly you're transgender and you want to fucking crush the women in their damn swimming competition or in a boxing match or weightlifting or some shit. Nah, this is the standard. That's that's the standard because the only people that are going to have problems in the society are these clown ass looking people. Remember the video I did you guys a while back? This fucking thing went through some damn drive through and but his credit card had a male name, and they were like, and he was bitching about the staff, and the manager came out to talk to him because he was like, I'm trans. What would you think if you? I used to have my nephew dying, crying, laughing, y'all. Because I would just hit him with that. I'm like, I'm trans. I can't. I can't. I can't. But that's the shit, though. And he looked like a man. You feel me? Like, those are the motherfuckers just looking like a damn clown. You ugly as fuck anyway. It don't matter what you claim to be. You just ugly as fuck. That's what you are. But this dude shows up. Nobody's gonna even know until he speak. He goes into a women's restroom. The women ain't gonna give him a second look and say, "Ooh, girl, I love your whatever he's wearing." You know, no issue. But I've made that claim in the past when I've ranted about this transgender bullshit. I've said, listen, the ones that are out there making the noise are bullshit. The ones that are about it, many of them are probably successful. They're living normal lives, fulfilling lives, and all of that, and you don't even know who they are. God bless them. But it's these clown motherfuckers that start all the shit. And I saw this transgender chick that was saying the shit, exactly what I said right now. And he looks and sounds just like a female. Like you wouldn't know. But I've heard some of them saying like, this don't represent them. They feel the same way the straight people feel. Like, stop trying to force this shit over on people. And they feel like the clowns are making it worse for them. So this should be the standard. If you don't look like this, take your shit back to the house. Take your shit. Damn. So I wanted to give that up. Let's go on. I keep saying that. It's a 5-minute clip. I've made it into like a 50-minute clip, damn it. All right, shut up, Jedi. I'll try. I can't.
We're talking specifically when we're talking about trans issues. This is something that relates to gender and sexuality, something that all human beings have an inherent connection to, and also feel like they are the authority on. But every person is different in their own gender, in their own sexuality, in their own expression. And I want to go back to the gender affirming care aspect. You know, we're talking about, even for older teenagers, people 17, 18, we're talking about services, medical care that cis people get all the time. Puberty blockers are used.
That shit right there, where that cis shit, you don't assign labels to us. Fuck that. Like, that sounds like some shit that grows on like the side of your neck. And it has to be diagnosed. Like, I can't. Again, that's when now you're encroaching. Like I say, shut the fuck up and stay on your side of the street. We shut the fuck up and stay on our side of the street. And everybody lives in peace. We don't visit our shit on you. You don't visit your shit on us. So don't come with these labels and shit for us. Sis. What the fuck is that?
Of people who are transgender. Hormones, HRT, are used for people who are of all ages to avoid precocious puberties, things like that. And
precocious puberties. You see these terms? Gender affirming care. Precocious puberties, everybody. Think, what the fuck is that? A precocious puberty. Everybody, all of us went through goddamn puberty and we got through just fine. Precocious. Who was precocious in their puberty? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. Tell me now. Tell me, because I can't. Precocious puberty and all of it.
To avoid precocious puberties, things like that. And we're not seeing bans or people saying, oh, well, no one in the state can get HRT if you're a female and you're trying to avoid a precocious, puberty. This is only with regards to people who are transgender.
Yeah, because women are women and you are not. You are not. You are not. You are a dude. That's what you are. So you don't get the same shit as women. You just don't.
This is only with regards to people who are transgender, and it's being implemented that way, and that's what is being argued at the state level in Tennessee.
I'm curious, Coleman, about that.
The reason none of those other uses are controversial is because those are long-standing, highly evidence-backed, non-politicized issues that have been conditions that have been treated that way going back a very long time. The protocol for gender-affirming care for children, the evidence is it's very weak. That's why it just changed 2 years ago in half the Western European countries, and it's a politicized issue, which means the advocates of the science are not always representing the science accurately.
I think it has been politicized. I don't think being transgender or seeking medical care is political. I think it has been politicized largely by the right to create this type of conversation, to create these wedges, and we have now pigeonholed.
It's been by the right. Get rid of that left and right shit, everybody. All this shit is just white. That's all it is. There is no. We don't as black people. We don't subscribe to any of that left right label shit. Fuck all of that. We're usually on what is right and what makes sense. We're not into all that left and right and what's liberal and neo this and neo that. Fuck all of that, man. Fuck. It's just, that's more white bullshit. It's more white bullshit. They the ones that came up with it. They the ones that always citing this shit. It's their bullshit. Don't be a part of that party, everybody. Don't do it. Remember, be the captain of your vessel and stand at your damn gate. This is what you must do. Let's go on.
This type of conversation to create these wedges, and we have now pigeonholed transgender people as the crux of what so much is hung upon in political discourse. But trans people make up such a small percentage of the population, and trans youth make up an even smaller percentage.
That's a very good point, because there's like 3 of them. You understand? But they've inflated the issue. You think they're just everywhere. Oh my God. And they're not. And they know it. There's 3 of them. Figuratively, There's 3 of them. Yet you've got millions of us African people out here, generations of us, who are due our damn just due and justice. We're due our reparations. They didn't even fucking get the George Floyd Policing Act signed or an anti-lynching law. And this shit for 3 fucking people who don't know if they're a boy or girl? You need to kiss my entire ass. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that. I'm just going to need that. I appreciate that he highlighted that. It's a very small number.
Which is hung upon in political discourse. But trans people make up such a small percentage of the population, and trans youth make up an even smaller percentage, that we are having these huge national televised conversations.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm saying. So, and here's another big, huge televised conversation over some shit that is as insignificant as a booger you just randomly flick. You wouldn't even remember you did it.
And trans youth make up an even smaller percentage.
But this is how desperate they are to ignore our issue. You see? Even if there literally was 3 of them, they'd be doing this exact same thing and acting like it's such a major issue, we have to do something.
And trans youth make up an even smaller percentage, that we are having these huge national televised conversations about a group of people that actually is a very small percentage of the population.
But is the alternative to not have the conversation? Because I mean, I think one of
Yeah, that is the alternative. I forgot her name because I can't stand her. Or Abby. Yeah, yeah, that's the alternative, Abby, to not have the conversation. Or again, they can shut the fuck up and go over there and have it on there, over there, over there. You understand?
Population.
But is the alternative to not have the conversation? Because I mean, I think one of the reasons the conversation
Yeah, because then we have the conversation about us getting our fucking reparations check.
has to happen is because the numbers are growing of young people who identify as trans.
No, but the studies have already showing that a lot of this shit is when they see shit like this on TV. You see, it's being pushed so much. You've had an explosion of kids. I've watched doctors who have said this is what they're saying. Suddenly, one of them was citing they may get one every, oh, I forget what the number was now, but it's like, just, it wasn't like regular at all. Suddenly it's like all hundreds, they're getting all these kids now just suddenly. But we know that already instinctively. We know that. You know, it's a lot of shit that's happening that just never was because it's been introduced. One day I was in my doctor's office and there was this old white man in the waiting lobby. And in that moment I was just inspired to just ask him out of nowhere. It came to me. And I just went up to him and I said, "Excuse me." I said, you're a gentleman of a certain age. When you were growing up, do you ever remember hearing anything about autism?" Wallahi, you guys, it was almost like he was expecting me to ask him this or waiting for somebody to ask him this. Without breathing, he goes, "Nope, we never knew anything about it. Never heard anything about it. Never heard anything about it." And I knew that would be his answer. You know, one of the ways I live my life is I think back, like, I'm like, I don't gotta wait till I'm old. You can do stuff that your grandmother did now that was tried and true. Do that now. Just do, like my grandma, just something simple for you. My grandmother used to just really chew her food, dude, down to a damn paste, it seemed like. Sometimes I'd be, "Grandma, aren't you done chewing that? Aren't you done?" You know. But I just thought, let me just do that. Just chew my food down to the paste, damn near. Why am I waiting? You know? There's a million things I could give you, but I don't want to sit here and story them now. But like, why wait? Just do the shit that she was doing. But anything that wasn't in my grandmother's time, I feel like is some bullshit now if it is. You know? And it was in that context that I was even asking this dude, like, did you ever know anything about autism when you was coming up? You know, just in your life, did you ever hear anything about that? I'm over it.
the numbers are growing of young people who identify as trans.
I wouldn't say that there's necessarily more young people who are trans. I think we have more language to describe who we are and how we feel. I think we are seeing transgender faces like Peppermint and myself on TV, in film, in movies, and young people and older people are finally seeing themselves represented and are...
No, you're using the power of suggesting. You're putting it in cartoons, you're putting it in commercials, you're putting it in movies and television shows, and it's causing these kids to think that shit that would normally just be happening to them in life is suddenly now some major event now that's wrong, and ooh, I'm trans, you know, or whatever, you know, and I'm never gonna be with that he, them, they, us bullshit. I don't need to do that. I don't need to. You one motherfucker standing in front of me, you are it, him, her. Don't give me they, them. Nah, I don't need to submit to this psychosis. I don't need to.
Young people who are trans, I think we have more language to describe who we are and how we feel. I think we are seeing transgender faces like
You've been given language would be the correct statement.
Peppermint and myself on TV and film and movies, and young people and older people are finally seeing themselves represented and are having they have the language now to identify how they feel, how they felt.
You know, that's the other thing that kills me when they talk about, everybody, we need to see ourselves. Black people always have been seduced into saying this shit too. We want just to see ourselves being no, I don't need to see myself. That always killed me. Like, I don't care if I don't see black people in some shit. I don't care. That shouldn't have any impact on me as a human being, nor should it have an impact on my people as a group. Because you must remember, for many centuries, there's no television, radio, social media, any of that stuff, cameras, mirrors even. Like, I don't need to see myself. You understand? Ooh, just to see ourselves being represented. For what? For what? Like, no.
Myself on TV and film and movies, and young people and older people are finally seeing themselves represented and are they have the language now to identify how they feel, how they felt. So I don't think we are seeing more transgender people. I don't think this is like an influx of trans people.
Can I also add just one thing to that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think the question was about, shouldn't we, I mean, I'm wondering, do you think it's better to talk about it or to not? Because
I think it's
I'm
better to
wondering
learn about it because we are hearing a lot of conversation that has been highly politicized, and most of the conversations, with maybe the exception of this one and a few this week, have not involved transgender people in any way, shape, or form. But major decisions that impact our bodies, our lives, our families, our health are being made without us being considered at all.
Would you agree it would be even better to have a conversation with trans people at the table and people who have detransitioned and have a conversation with all this?
I appreciate that. Even though I cannot stand the fuck out of this dude. Like, let's be very clear. Let's be consistent with our disdain. This Coleman Hughes person is definitely not one of us. But I always tell you, we accept the truth no matter what the source, even if it's fucking Coleman Hughes. But I love that. So if we're gonna have the conversation, then let's have people who have detransitioned also. How about that? Huh?
Families, our health.
Let's have some of the transgenders I've seen online. There was this one, I think he's Arab actually. I must say, if you don't know he's a man, he's very beautiful. Like, very beautiful. But it was so sad. And the person interviewing him, I didn't find out till halfway through the interview that the chick that was interviewing him is a transgender. Like, she looks and sounds, everything about her is a female, dude. Like, everything. And so that was astonishing. But it was such a sad story because the Arab one that was sitting up there saying, I mean, he was in tears the entire time, saying what a mistake this was, and if he had known, and he just talked about his whole story. It was so engaging. Like, that's what people need to see. You're gonna shove this down people's throat, then tell it all. Tell it all, because that's part of your story. That's part of your community. And that's when I learned, like, because he was telling it all, and he was saying how, because after when boys transit to trying to be a woman, obviously only Allah can create the glorious organ of the female anatomy. This life-giving, pleasure-giving miracle. And so they can't produce that because, again, only Allah creates, and only Allah is perfection by definition. So whatever they do when they invert the male organ and they do some other stuff or whatever, but anyways, they're creating a hole, and they have to walk around with something stuck up in there, y'all, for a very long time to prevent it from closing up, because the body is fighting to close it up, because the body, of course, sees it for what it is, an open wound, and it's trying to heal it. You see? And so if they don't do this and do it very faithfully, it closes up their scar tissue and everything. And he was talking about how painful it is. Oh my God, I was almost to tears for him, because it was just like, it was a symphony of things. I just thought how he has unfortunately been a victim of propaganda and deception, you know. And here that he had just destroyed his life, and he was saying he wished he had just gone through all of this. He could still dress like a girl and look like he looks and all that stuff, and could have just kept his original equipment, you know. That he wish he had more time, and it was just, oh man, subhanallah, dude. It was so sad. And you had to hear how he told it. You could not be affected by his humanity, you know. It was really something, y'all. I wish I had that clip. I don't remember who. I just don't even know how I would even find it. Well, just hear this out. If I find it, then you'll know, because I'll do something and go, oh look, I found it. But let's just finish this out, because this was supposed to be a short video about a 5-minute damn clip, but it's the Jedi, so I can't do anything that's quick. It's just not possible in life.
A conversation has been highly politicized, and most of the conversations, with maybe the exception of this one and a few this week, have not involved transgender people in any way, shape, or form. But major decisions that
because other shit was more
bodies,
important.
our lives, our families, our health are being made without us being considered at all.
Would you agree it would be even better to have a conversation with trans people at the table and people who have detransitioned, and have a conversation with all the stakeholders?
Absolutely, but I think
that very rarely happens.
100%. I mean, you can produce that. What we're talking about here is people. In this situation, with regards to the Supreme Court case, we're talking about people being able to have bodily autonomy, the right to make decisions.
Like I said, he shuts the fuck up and he don't say nothing. You see this dude anywhere, you'd be like, oh, I saw a sister, wherever you would have seen her, like that, So you see what I see. That's what it is. Now, he's wearing that turtleneck, so we'll know if I'm gonna see like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hook going on. We'll know. We'll know though. But if that's not present and he doesn't talk, that's a woman.
What we're talking about here is people. In this situation, with regards to the Supreme Court case, we're talking about people being able to have bodily autonomy, the right to make decisions about their own body and their own health in conference with their medical providers and their families. And that is where the decisions and the impact of that decision will play out. And so those are the people who have the highest stake.
Yeah, just one thing I want to add. I mean, we're talking about children and young adults who are going through an incredibly difficult time.
And that's the end of the clip. It's about reparations for me.
Bodies,
you know what I'm saying?
Our lives.
Like, that's just what it is. And our issues that are real and impactful. We need that. We deserve that. It's long overdue. And it's so ironic that for all the centuries and generations that they've been trying to deny us what they owe us, at the same time, they're doing everything to continue to rape and pillage our motherland, which is the richest place on earth. There is not a more rich continent on this planet, excuse me, than Africa. So the very people you fucking owe are the very people you still need to make your entire society work. You understand? You don't have Elon Musk with a fucking Tesla without the uranium and the cobalt and the coltan that comes out of Africa. There is no Elon Musk. You understand? That's just for starters. He literally does not exist at all. And any of that ugly shit he's produced. None of it. That's the irony. Talk back to me, everybody. I'd like to hear what you think about this, And, are you prepared to commit to the agenda of reparations for African people? And it also gets my gall when I hear black people talking about, no, black people shouldn't get the money because they'll just spend it. Speak for your own bitch ass. Just because you haven't learned money management. And who gives a fuck what we do with it? That is fucking significant. Insignificant. Insignificant. And another excuse. And again, I ask you, did they ask you how you were going to spend your stimulus check? Did anybody ask you that? Huh? Or did you hear any black people who refused it and said, no, I don't want it? Did you? You didn't. And you didn't hear any black people saying, well, don't give a stimulus check to black folks because they'll just spend it. You didn't hear none of that. You see? Because Massa was saying here, you see? But these self-hating Negroes, when black folks say, give us, they got some shit to say. You see? So I need them to keep that same energy when we get reparations. Say, no, you can just give us your check because remember, you didn't want it. And you was afraid you're going to spend it the wrong way. So we're going to just help you out. Is that we looking out for you in love to take all your shit and do exactly that. You understand? So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this, everybody, because I'm really just sick and tired of it. I just think about all the people that have lived and died and are gone, and they never got their compensation. So they lived in hell and died. And that's not how we were meant to live by the divine. We're not put here to work our whole fucking life. And then when you're too old to do a goddamn thing, now you can retire and do absolutely fucking nothing because you're too old and you don't have any vibrant youthfulness left, and now you just nothing. You're just waiting to die. Nah, that's not the way. I know that in my soul that that's not the way. So I found it, everybody, and this is not it. Well, it's not the whole thing, but I saw there's another piece. This is from Blair White. This is the one that I told you I didn't know that she was even a transgender. But it's my penis is gone forever. I regret it. Emotional interview. But this is only a 17-minute clip. But it's actually over an hour over here on the right. It's the whole thing. So I really highly recommend. Damn it! I highly recommend you go and watch. Damn it! I can't even talk, y'all. I got the hiccups. I highly recommend that you go and watch this whole entire thing. We'll just see a little bit of this piece here, so you could get your just sort of your feet wet about it, and get a feel for this dude. it's a very touching. So for me, it was bigger than just the transgender stuff. It was the humanity of it, man. A human being going through this. It's such a, just think about if you did just make something simple. Just think if you like you're totally fine right now, and you go, I think I'm gonna go and have my, like my nose done or something, or I want to have. You decide you're gonna do some literal, procedure to make yourself amazing, and then it's something that's fucked up and you cannot change it. Then just multiply that times a billion. I just even saw in the last few days, it must have been on Twitter, there was some chick laying face down on a table or something, had one of them butt injection shit, and I guess it all went wrong, and you could see the muscle. I mean, the skin was just pulled back, dude. It was just holes there, and bloody and pussy. It was this person. She was in so much pain, and I just thought, my God, what is happening? I mean, what is happening, dude? What's happening? And why the obsession with ass so much now? Both the women and the men. If it's not some chick with some porpoise looking ass now, it's some dude you gotta look at his fucking nasty drawers over the top of some fucking skinny jeans. What is the ass obsession? I'm sick and tired of it. Ah, man, dude, I cannot. And that's in this nation. Listen, when I was in Africa, the whole time I was in Senegal, I never saw a single fucking pair of anybody's goddamn underwear. Not even one. And the same thing in the Gambia. Not even one. Not even one. All right, hear a little bit of this and be inspired, because like I say, you want to go and watch the entire thing, everybody. You just put in detransitioner interview, botched surgery, regret and the social contagion. Or you can put in Blair White and just go to her channel and search for the video. But let's just hear a little piece of this so you could just get a feel for the humanity of this person whose name I can't remember, but I guess they'll say it.
You've had the surgery. What does it feel like to miss your penis?
I 100% feel like I was part of some cruel medical and social experiment. I wish somebody hugged me a few years back and be like, you know what, you can present feminine, you can wear heels, hair, whatever you want, but the sad reality, we don't have technology to make you an actual woman. But they kind of didn't protect me from myself.
Oh, it broke my heart.
Hey guys, the video you're about to watch is an incredibly emotional and intense interview I did with a male to female, back to male detransitioner named Shapeshifter. It's going to air in full the day after this video goes live on my podcast channel, The Blair White Project, link in description. And I have a disclaimer. Some people may be confused why I refer to Shapeshifter as he or him despite his presentation, which is still feminine. But that's because the entire point of this story is to show that males who simply are feminine are being told that they must undergo sexual reassignment surgery. Shape is learning to live with the surgeries and permanent damage done to his body and all the health complications, so I encourage kindness and empathy in the comment section.
Yeah.
Enjoy, and remember that the full hour-plus interview will be on my podcast channel and streaming platforms the day after this is posted. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So,
wallahi, I didn't know that this person interviewing was not a female. I did not know that. I mean, everything about her body language, everything. There's nothing there's nothing there for me to go, oh nah,
Part of your kind of transition horror story here is that you have a neovagina that isn't working properly, you have osteoporosis
And scoliosis.
and scoliosis.
That was one reason,
So,
yeah.
can you talk about that?
I mean, it's transphobic to say, but after I've been through the system, I 100% feel like I was part of some cruel medical and social experiment. Except for nobody checked on me, and if I offed myself, I would not even be included in any statistics. I'm sure they would just write me off as some other issues. None of the people who gave me letters, surgeries. Moreover, I've spent thousands of dollars. I've traveled across the country, did all the consults trying to get help. So every time I went to consults, I entered my history, my information. None of those people are studying like detransitioners. So when trans community says regret rate is 1% and complication rate is 1%, that's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Bullshit, and you guys need to hear this. What they don't really tell you is that the body treats you as a wound.
Again, he's from the Middle East. He said wound there, but he goes, what they don't tell you is the body treats it as a wound, but because of the accent, it didn't sound like that. Hear that?
It is bullshit.
Bullshit, and you guys need to hear this. What they don't really tell you is that the body treats you as a wound.
It tries to close up.
Yes, constantly trying to close up. In my case, yeah, it started shutting down right away pretty much. So I got a revision. Like a few months later, I was back on operating table, and I got blamed at the time that like you didn't dilate enough, even though I was religiously dilating and I couldn't understand it, just patient blamed pretty much. Now that I talk to other people, the same happened to them, that's what they don't tell you,
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's like, so they kept on blaming me for not dilating enough, and so they did the surgery, which they just opened me back up, and they're like, you have 8 inches, congrats. And I was like excited. So I drove back to Massachusetts, and by the time I got home, pretty much I already lost 1 inch. I couldn't dilate back up. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
okay, I'm gonna save the 7 inches. That's plenty, And I was like putting stents in me, driving a car with a dildo inside of me and with tight panties, like to the point that I couldn't even pee. And then my back started hurting like 2020. I thought it was a mattress issue. I kept on like, oh my God, my back hurts so much. If I sit up, like, then I went to chiropractor, and he was like, you have scoliosis. And again, like my paperwork is female. So, and again, I'm like, don't want to tell like random people that don't need to know that I'm trans, it's like, and he was like, I guess if I told him earlier, I would have.
That's an important point. You see, she said my paperwork says I'm female, so I don't want to tell people who it's none of their business that I'm trans. That's what I'm talking about. The people that are really about it, that really have these feelings, they go, they do what they have to do, and they live their life in the society, and they're not looking for anybody to give them a fucking marching band and a parade. This is what has been done to them. I suggest to you from before they were born. They come forth with all of this, and it's absolutely natural to them. 100%, just like that. Like I told you, the guy gave the male lizard some shit, and that was it. You cannot tell me they're not doing the same thing to humans. It could be in the food. We know that there's some things that we eat that have more estrogen in it, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a whole evil, dude. It's an entire evil. Excuse me. How many fat brothers we know that they just look like they really do got man titties? You understand? A little bit more of this.
Email. So, and again, I'm like, don't want to tell like random people that don't need to know that I'm trans, it's like, and he was like, I guess if I told him earlier, he would have put 2 and 2 together that maybe it was hormone related. But then I did some more research, and I ended up going for that finally bone scan in 2021, maybe. I realized I had like osteoporosis in my spine. It's pretty bad, but honestly, my story is not as bad because there's other detrans males. I don't know, will I have time, but like they have it worse as people who have no sensation in their like groin.
I saw a viral post from another detransitioner who said that you could literally stab his genitals with a knife and there is no sensation.
Yeah, Richie.
And that is so, like, I don't think people understand, like, for years as a trans person, I've been asked like my reasons for not wanting the surgery, etc. And people are like, well, yeah, maybe you won't be able to orgasm anymore. In their mind, their head goes to like, will you be able to still come afterwards? The reality is, for some people, and you're saying for yourself, you can't even have sex. You have had a sex change, and now you cannot have sex.
Yeah, it was not a fair trade at all. So, and
Yeah.
plus they didn't tell me there was a study done in Sweden where it showed that suicide probability went up. You can bleep out that word. Sorry, I said it. But like, yeah, like I wish somebody told me, like one of the therapists, like you can do this, but you will more likely to off yourself after this, according to certain studies. Why is it all hidden online and nobody talks about it? Why do people have to look for it themselves?
So this is like really intense for me to hear all this, obviously. It's so interesting because obviously we're coming from different sides of the coin to where
Right.
like transition was a correct decision for me, and trying to place myself in the shoes of someone who it's not is very emotional. Like, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you've had the surgery. What does it feel like to miss your penis?
Honestly, like I didn't miss it up until it started. Like, I mean, I missed it, but I couldn't admit it to myself. It was like a sunk cost fallacy. And then I started having phantom limb thing happening. I would wake up in the morning and have dreams about having a penis. And then I would wake up and not have it. And it was just such a mirror situation because when I was convinced I was a woman, I was like remembering how I was a kid waking up dreaming I had a vagina. And now I'm like, I wish I could go back. I made a huge mistake, you know? But I realized I will never be able to get back my penis. And it's very traumatic realization. And it's super sad. I mean, I don't want to like a pity party, but it is sad. Like, I mean, I've my life kind of. I could have been so much more vibrant person and could have accomplished so much more, you know? And I do miss my full sex drive. And I honestly can't even take too much testosterone because it will give me more sexual desires. And I can't really experience all that because it's traumatic. And honestly, moving forward, I don't even know like what hormones I'm going to be on. And I told them that I was not happy with my transition. I was trying to get in touch with one of the therapists who gave me letters, and nobody even gave me his email. So yeah, it's like they really don't care. It's like they don't want to even know. Because why? It's a big industry. All the surgeons.
And it only is a bad look for them to have a patient say, I regret this.
Right, because it doesn't align with the general narrative. Because it will make a lot of people reconsider if that's the right step for them. I wish somebody hugged me a few years back and be like, you know what? You can present feminine, you can wear heels, hair, whatever you want. But the sad reality, we don't have technology to make you an actual woman.
So you wish someone would have stopped you from transitioning?
I wish, and my parents tried to, but they were not in America, and they just told me like, you know, it was more of a religious spin, but at the time I was not willing to listen to them. You know, they just said, you know, in a Muslim religion it's haram. You know, they said it's like you're going against God. But if one of medical professionals said, like, I just feel so angry. I feel like these people didn't have my best interests. They never tackled.
And see, a lot of these kids will have that in the future when they wake up, you see. And you know, these parents should beware because, you know, there could be some resentment there and there could be some acts, you know, that go on. And, you know, it's an evil, man. Your kid should be told, okay, that's fine, but just chill out. You know what I'm saying? We'll revisit this when you're 18 or 21, see if you still feel the same way or whatever, you know. But you can't allow kids to wreck their life, man, when they're not old enough to understand life. You know, they're not even old enough to even understand or fear death, to even contemplate their mortality. That should just be a marker right there. You need to have a healthy understanding of death and a healthy fear of it, quite frankly, before you do some shit like this. And they need to be exposed to people like this more, because all they get is all this, you know, people just tell them what the fuck they want to hear and not any of the bad side. You know, it's a disservice. It's evil. And, you know, there should be some lawsuits. There should be some lawsuits. A little bit more of this, you guys. Just a skosh.
to listen to them. They just said, in a Muslim religion, it's haram. They said it's like you're going against God. But if one of medical professionals said, like, I just feel so angry. I feel like these people didn't have my best interests. They never tackled my childhood traumas. They never dove deeper. They just assumed that was like, they affirmed me, into this, I believe into self-harm.
That's what's so dangerous, right? Is that we have these affirming therapists and doctors now who have every incentive in the world to say, yes, you are trans, this is the issue you're struggling with, rather than try to see if there's another cause. And a lot of times there is another cause. In your case, there were more causes that weren't looked at.
But I think people need to go back to a science lab and figure out and have better structured definition of what true trans is.
Yes.
And this is not gatekeeping. We're in trouble. Like there's already so many kids that regret it,
And what's so wrong with gatekeeping?
Yes, it's like, this is the only medical situation where you get to choose your own treatment plan. Like, what the hell? You get to choose, like, do you just want to be on hormones?
Such a great point.
Or do you want to take it further with bottom surgery? It's like, they should study and be like, okay, in these people, bottom surgery didn't work, or maybe bottom surgery doesn't work. Maybe social presenting helps a lot of people. Honestly, I enjoy presenting feminine. Like, it doesn't bother me. I enjoy it. Like,
so someone should have explained to you that it's okay for you to do that without getting anything irreversible done to you.
Right, or even changing my paperwork. I feel like a lot of it was escaping male violence, because I was always in a effed up way. I felt like I had the surgery. Psychologically, I knew I was never going to be accepted by other men as a man. And maybe it was my way to gain acceptance looking like a woman, And it's like, it's almost like I had the surgery to cater towards patriarchy, but they also like didn't even give me good results, so I can't cater towards them. Like, it's like, really, people? And all the men that worked on me are just straight men as far as I know. And it's like, really, people? You couldn't even give me, that's another thing. Like, they literally, after multiple surgeries, they couldn't even give me a few inches as stay open, not even 3 inches. Like, I'm literally have 1 inch depths right now. And it's like, really, people? Honestly, this transition, like, I lost so many family members, like I haven't seen my grandma in years, and they loved me no matter what I was, in their own way. My grandma always loved me, but I can't show myself to her because she always wanted me to have children. I mean, she will have a heart attack if she sees me, so she may pass away and I will never see her. But now the family that was here, that was supportive of me, that live in America, the families that live in America, now the transition is pulling me further away from them because first of all, they're confused. Third of all, like, I feel a little angry. I just feel like they affirmed my delusions. And honestly, I feel a little angry towards them. I know it's not their fault. Like, I own the fact that I signed on a dotted line.
By the way, that's a nervous laugh that he does, everybody. That's nothing but a nervous laugh. It's a nervous laugh. Just, I need you to know that.
But I was just a traumatized kid. Like, my sister, she grew up with me. She knew the conditions we grew up in. She knew that, like, I was traumatized. But again, she was like, she's been younger than me. There's no way she could have known. But they kind of, like, didn't protect me from myself.
So you have
to protect me from myself, man. Yeah. You should go and watch this whole thing, you guys. I think when more people see this, whatever side of the issue they're on, this will give them pause. Certainly a lot of parents should see this type of stuff. Because I secretly think there's also some of these parents who want to be special and shit. You see, I can always see. You can tell. I know when I'm looking at a couple that, and Chrissy just came to us and told us or Bobby came to us and told us he was Chrissy, and so we just, they trying to get some little 5 minutes of fame and shit. Especially some of these white parents. They are sick as fuck. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Sick. And so parents need to see stories like this as well. Because so many people are being sold that this is just this wonderful thing and you've helped them be who they are and all that bullshit, and you fucked up their entire life for the rest of their life. This is not something you can go back from. You cannot go back. You cannot go back. Even some of these lesbians that have their chest, their breast taken off, they keep their vagina. Okay, that's still traumatic, but that ain't as bad. You know, that's not as bad, you know, because they still will be able to enjoy intimacy. But somebody like this dude, it's a wrap, you know, and intimacy is such a major part of being a human being. You know, it just, even if you celibate or something like that, at least you still got the option. But just to be completely out the game, that's, wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Do go and watch this, everybody. You can watch the full one. I didn't even finish with this little 17-minute clip. But you should watch the full piece. It's worth your viewing. It's something you won't forget, and you'll be talking about it for quite some time. This I promise you. It's that moving. It's that moving. But I end where I began, and not just the transgender bullshit, but as I say, any and all shit that is not talking about us. We need to be over that, everybody. We need to start pushing our issues. And chief among them needs to be reparations. I leave it here for now. I look forward to hearing from you. This is the Jedi.